Here are 7 signs that you're more charismatic than you think. You guys really seem to enjoy my confidence video on 7 signs that you're more confident than you think. And I thought, why not do a part 2 to that and touch on 7 signs you're more charismatic than you think. And I'm gonna share everything that I know in this video. Hey, if you're new, I'm Christina and I make videos for people who are feeling lonely. If you're a people pleaser, overachiever, overthinker, over anything out, you're in the right place. But before we get into the video, a quick word from our sponsor. This video is very kindly sponsored by Skillshare. One of the Skillshare classes I'm taking right now is about charisma. And one of the interesting things that I learned in this class is the importance of pauses. Like whenever you're talking to someone, whether it's a friend or you're talking on camera or you're talking on a Zoom call, like don't be afraid to have pauses and spaces in between what you're saying. Like this happens a lot when I'm nervous that I'll just waffle and ramble and like I'll speak so fast you can't even hear what I'm saying. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, productivity, and more. Skillshare is essentially the go-to place to help you take your skills and hobbies to the next level. One of the unique things about Skillshare is the learning paths, which is perfect if you're a student and in the middle of back to school season. Learning paths are essentially a specific set of classes organized to help you learn a specific skill. Whether you're an introvert trying to start your social media journey, or a student hoping to start a small business, or if you're just a procrastinator who wants to finally be productive, Skillshare definitely has a class for you. The first 500 people to use the link in my description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So be sure to join and let me know in the comments below what class you're thinking of taking. I'm going to start off with some superficial charisma signs and then go deeper and deeper as we get on into the video. Starting off with a classic sign you have more charisma than you think is you can have a conversation with anyone. If you're the sort of person that can ask a stranger for some directions, or you see that acquaintance that you kind of know but you don't really know, she's a friend of a friend of a friend, but you can strike up a conversation with them, you are charismatic. I've noticed that each time I speak to someone new that I kind of know but I don't know them that well, it's kind of like a friend of a friend of a friend situation. Each time I've spoken to someone like this, I've noticed that when I go say hi or like, how's your day going or whatever, they're always like very, very keen to talk. It's almost like that person was waiting for me to go first. Like they really wanted to say something, but they weren't sure how to and they were nervous. And then when I show up and I say something, they're like, oh my God, finally, okay, now we can talk. Even better if you're the sort of person in a conversation where you can easily talk to people, like you're super easygoing, but you remember like the little details about people. Like I work with a woman who I've only spoke to her like 2-3 times. Each time we do talk, we end up wasting time at work. Like we talk for a solid 15-20 minutes and like we have to like catch ourselves like, no, look, let's get back to work. We've got things to do. I remember the little details and it makes me think like I know this person a little bit more. Another thing charismatic people do is they live in the moment. I started reading a book all about charisma, which is kind of what this video is inspired by. It's called The Charisma Myth. According to charisma expert Aaliyah Fox-Caban, charisma is nothing but an equation. And in the book, there's 3 key things she says are associated with charisma. It's essentially a mix of presence, power, and warmth. So when it comes to presence, sometimes charismatic people, they just have something about them. Like when I think of like Zendaya or Tom Holland or Emma Chamberlain or like just certain like public figures that are charismatic, like Will Smith, there's just something about them. You can't quite put your finger on it. They're just so charming and so charismatic. And I think part of that is that they just live in the present moment. They're not steering the conversation to things that happened 3 years ago or worrying about things that they did last week. Or they're not trying to force you to think about what you're going to do in 5 years and where do you see yourself in 10 years. And like, they're not dragging things too far into the past. They're not forcing you to think about the future. They're very much just here and now, here with you in this conversation. In the book, she talks about how when you are talking to someone that's charismatic or you yourself are charismatic, when you talk to people, you give them your full attention. You're kind of like there with them in the room. You're not like talking to them to pass the time because you've got like an appointment you're waiting for in 10 minutes. You're not talking to them to distract yourself from a breakup that you've got going on and you don't want to think about that in the past. Like you're just using them to pass the time. You have no objective to attain from this person. You're not trying to gain anything. You're just very much here with them in the moment. These are the sorts of people that you'll talk to, and honestly, you'll talk to them for what feels like 10 minutes, but actually it's been an hour. Like you guys just lose track of time talking about the things that you bond over or the things that you connect on. Being in the present moment and having that presence when you're with someone is a lot easier when you have a good listener. Like not all of us have that luxury of talking to someone that really gives us the time and space to just talk freely without interruptions, without making it about them, without like only listening to you so that they can respond with something back. I feel like a lot of people nowadays in conversation, it really is like they're just letting you talk so that they can talk afterwards. Charismatic people are also a good mix of relatable and aspirational. That mix of feeling like you can talk to someone and they're just like you, but also you talk to them and you want to be like them as well. There's definitely a balance with relatable and aspirational. If you're one of those people that people can talk to you and they feel like, oh, they're just so similar to you and we have like, oh my gosh, you're just like me. You also forget to brush your teeth sometimes when you leave the house, or you also leave your laundry in the washing machine and forget to press start. Like, you both click over little things that you make mistakes on, and you're both like, you can relate over those small little things. But then that person is also aspirational in a sense that they have a part of their life, or maybe their whole life entirely, is just very, very inspirational. It doesn't mean you have to be like a celebrity or an influencer or anything like that. It could be like you're aspirational in the sense of like, you're really organized, like more organized than the normal person. You've got your ducks in a row, you use a planner, you schedule things, you've got a planner. Or it could be you're aspirational in the sense that you have really cool style. People compliment you on your outfits really often. You know how to put together an outfit really quickly. You're hot on the hottest trends. It could be you're aspirational because you're an early bird, you wake up early, it's easy for you, 5 a.m. is no big deal. It could be you're aspirational because like you actually love your job. Like, you're one of those people where like talking about work isn't like a slog. It's like you actually look forward to waking up and going to work and doing your 9 to 5. Aspirational can be different. It doesn't have to be like larger than life, the Instagram Lamborghini lifestyle aspirational. It can just be aspirational in like a normal everyday way. You know that you're both relatable and aspirational if you're really easy to talk to and you often get compliments on a certain area of your life. For example, like I said earlier, it could be like people often compliment you on your outfits, or people always say like, I don't know how you do it all. Like, how do you juggle this and how do you juggle that? That's a common thing I get a lot when people find out that I'm like working as a doctor but also have a YouTube channel. People always say like, how do you juggle the two? How do you do it? And I'm just like, I don't know, I just do it. I just show up. Charismatic people also have a really good mix of a sense of humor and intelligence. I knew one girl back in school who was so intelligent. She wanted to do maths as a degree. Like, she lived and breathed and died maths. Like, she had maths like numbers pin badges on her bag, and she would do math in her spare time because she just loved it so much. She would watch maths documentaries and programs, and like she would have like really cool t-shirts with like slogans of like equations, E equals MC squared. That was her thing. But the thing about this girl, like, I genuinely love that for you, that you've got something you're so obsessed with. Like, she actually studied it at university, so I love that for her. But like, you actually couldn't crack jokes with this girl because each time you'd say something funny, it didn't even have to be about maths. Like, you could say something about Donald Trump, or you could say something about like something you've seen on TikTok, and she'd be like, oh no, but that would never work because that would never actually happen. Or it doesn't matter if Donald Trump puts this policy into power because, well, legally this, and the US Senator and the High Court. And it's just like, let me just learn the joke. Let me just have this moment. Can I not just say something funny? There's an element to people enjoying talking to you because you're just so lighthearted. Like, if you're the sort of person that has a lot of heaviness on things, or you take things super seriously, or someone cracking a joke about Donald Trump, or someone showing you a TikTok they've seen and be like, oh my God, watch this, and like you correcting it, then it's almost like you're taking the fun away from things. I feel like when it comes to charisma or charismatic people, they're the sort of people where you could have a super deep conversation and really talk about some important stuff that's like meaningful, but then you can also have a laugh about something that's like literally ridiculous and doesn't make sense. Like, the logistics of the joke or the thing you're trying to say would never work. It'd never happen. Scientifically, mathematically, it can never work. But like, you're just laughing because it's funny. If you're charismatic, you probably have a strong sense of self. Charismatic people know who they are. They believe in who they are. They're sure of themselves. They can confidently make decisions. They might be on the fence and not sure whether to go down this route in life or maybe do that route. Should I take this job or should I take that job? Should I go to this university or that university? They might be unsure on things, but they're confident when they do those things. They're not the sort of people to kind of like make a choice but then like backtrack and like backpedal and, did I make a mistake? Did I do the right thing? Should I have sent that email in a different way? If you're charismatic, chances are you're the sort of person that's very accepting of like, you've got this. If I mess up, I can handle it. If I make a mistake, things will be okay. I used to be the complete opposite of this. I used to be the sort of person that would spend genuinely hours thinking about a decision to make. Like, I'd go on Reddit and like double check what has someone 5 years ago done in terms of this situation. Like, let me read all the like responses on Reddit, then do my thing. But then even when I'd made the decision, I'd still stress. It was like I could never find peace of mind. I could never get to a place where I felt happy with my decision. Even when I would outsource my decision making to Reddit or outsource my decision making to a friend and ask what they would do, I still wouldn't feel confident. And I've only realized now it's because I didn't have a strong sense of self. Like, I didn't believe in myself to be able to handle difficult decisions. People that are charismatic have a strong sense of self. Even if things go wrong, they know it will work out. They're very open and willing to learn from their mistakes. They're not terrified of mistakes because they know it's not the end of the world. Instead, if a mistake happens, they know they can learn from it. And speaking of positivity and negativity, as a charismatic person, negativity is just as important as positivity. I feel like this is getting a little bit more deep. I did say I'm going to start off with some superficial and get more and more deep as we get into the video. Depending on what side of YouTube you live on, I feel like there's a lot of toxic positivity, or there's a cohort of like the spiritual side of YouTube, like the manifesting side of YouTube, that tells you to just think positive all day and never like give any attention to like negative thoughts or negative things in your life. Like think positive, like don't think about those things. If you think about these things enough, they'll manifest and you'll bring it into your life, and like you're the reason you have all the things in your life. There's a lot of fear mongering online. And one thing I think about charismatic people, or I guess you could even just say like people very comfortable within themselves and comfortable with their life circumstances, they don't run away from negativity. They don't run away from setbacks. They don't run away from negative thoughts. No matter how perfect your life could be, or no matter how perfect life seems at the moment, inevitably something will always go wrong. And that's not me being toxic. That's not me being negative or rude. That's me being real. So if you're one of those people that does get terrified of any negative thought you have because you worry about manifesting it more, or you worry about giving too much attention to toxic people, or you worry too much that like you want your life to look different, you want your life to look more positive, you have an idea of what you want to live, and you feel like you're focusing too much on the negative. I feel like charismatic people, or people just at peace with their life, comfortable with how things are going, good and bad, they don't run away from the bad. It is cringy to say, but in life, quite literally, you have to take the good with the bad. If I handed you your dream life, your dream circumstance, dream job, dream relationship, dream everything, I would be giving you a bunch of new problems. I would be giving you the problem of taking your expensive car to the garage and them telling you, oh yeah, to fix your car is going to be $3,000. Or if I gave you a dream relationship, I would be giving you the problem of maybe your partner is really attractive and they often get like looked at, or people flirting with them, or people sending them messages on Instagram. You have your dream relationship, but it also comes with like a negative aspect. Or if I gave you a dream job, I'd also be giving you potentially a lot of responsibility, a lot of long days, a lot of long nights, a lot of like busy weekends where you can't hang out with friends and family. You're busy working on your dream job, but you now have a new problem as well. We have made it to the end, and the last sign I personally think that makes you more charismatic than you think is that you're very comfortable being seen. A lot of the most charismatic people that we can think of are public figures, stand-up comedians, actors, actresses, influencers, YouTubers, politicians, teachers, authors. When it comes to the charisma equation, power, presence, and warmth, I think being comfortable being seen falls into like the power aspect. A lot of us are very uncomfortable being seen. Like for a lot of us, it's very scary to be in the spotlight. It's very scary to like volunteer your opinion or say something controversial. Go against the grain and say, actually, no, I don't actually like Taylor Swift. Like, I know she's popular, but I don't actually like her. Or it's very scary to be like, okay, yeah, you know, my job's going okay, but deep down, I kind of want to be a content creator. Like, I want to start a TikTok. I want to start an Instagram. And like to film your first video and to post it, it's very, very uncomfortable being seen by people, especially in an area that's like very personal to you. To be able to be seen and be comfortably being seen, I don't know if that even made sense. To be able to be seen and to be comfortably seen is more to do than just confidence. Like you might think, oh, but you know, if I work on my confidence, then I can post a TikTok and like start my content creator journey. Or if I become more confident around people, speak to people more, then I'll be confident to share like more parts of me and more controversial opinions. I'll finally be able to talk about the music that I really like. But I personally don't think being seen is actually to do with confidence. I think it's about to do with feeling safe. For a lot of people, feeling safe has a lot to do with how well you know someone. Chances are, if you've known someone for 2, 3, 4 years, you're going to feel a lot more safe with them. However, if you know someone for 2, 3, 4 minutes, you're probably not going to know them as well. And that's why with new people, generally speaking, a lot of people are a lot more shy and reserved. And then when you know people a bit more, you're more open and more yourself. Having said that, when it comes to feeling safe and being like a charismatic person that lives in the present, is a good mix of relatable and aspirational, I feel like you generally are very comfortable being seen because you generally feel quite safe within yourself, less fazed by being judged by people. Don't get me wrong, judgment from people is very, very scary. I feel like it's one of those things that like throughout your life, you can never get to a point where you're 100% don't care what anyone thinks. Like you always will, because we are tribal creatures that need like reassurance and community from people. But I feel like as a charismatic person, You're comfortable being seen, like you're okay in the spotlight. You're okay to like share controversial opinions and like be seen for who you are and your personality, because being judged by other people phases you a little bit less than it does the average person. And if you think about it, that makes perfect sense. Like Zendaya, Emma Chamberlain, Kiki Palmer, Steve Jobs, all of these people that are relatively charismatic, they've all said things that are quite wild before. Emma Chamberlain has definitely said things that piss people off. Or Steve Jobs has definitely done things that people were like, why would you say that? But I feel like these people that are charismatic are just a little bit less fazed by judgment. They don't care as much what you say about them. They're so comfortable within themselves and they have a strong sense of self that what they think about themselves matters a lot more than what you think about them. For these people, having the spotlight shone on them and having a moment where like they're in the light, everyone is looking at them, their mind doesn't automatically go to, oh my God, this is when everyone's going to see my flaws. It's more so, this is when everyone will see my strengths and my flaws. I like to think of it like charismatic people are accepting of their whole self and not just part of themselves. A lot of us only think the part of ourselves that's perfect and like put together is the part of us that's worth showing. But actually, I think charismatic people, they know like so deeply, they know deep down, all parts of me are worth being shown. The good, the bad, the ugly, the flaws and the strengths. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy my 7 signs you're more confident than you think video. Similar to this, but also a little bit different. I'd love to know in the comments what signs you think show charisma. I'd be very curious. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.